Hi, my name is Cassie Arver. I am a watercolor artist and teacher. And today I'd like to take a moment to introduce myself and tell you about what I do, why, and how I do it. First off, a little bit about me. Number one, I've been I've been making art since I was a little kid, and I've loved it ever since. Number two, I went to Art Center College of Design in Pasadena, California, and earned a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Illustration. So I have been classically trained in drawing and painting. The third thing is, since I graduated, I've worked in graphic design, web design, illustration, I've painted murals, I've done editorial, and more recently I fell in love with teaching art. I started that in 2022, and in 2024 I started focusing on teaching seniors. I love teaching because I love to create a safe, welcoming space for people to play and explore through making art, and I love to guide them through different techniques and processes and give them the feedback that they're looking for. Now with seniors specifically, I've noticed that they're most of the time at least, extremely hard on themselves, and gentle encouragement ongoingly, repeatedly, makes a huge difference for them, and I love providing that for them. Now, I'm primarily a watercolor artist and teacher, and there are many things that I love about the medium. Today, I'll go over just a few of them. Number one is that there's just something incredibly soothing and calming about watching watercolor flow across a page. I find it extremely therapeutic, and I know others do too. Reason number two is that it's inherently beautiful. The textures that the water and the color leaves behind on a piece of paper once it dries, it's just really pretty. Number three, it's accessible. It's very low cost as well as easy to pick up. In other words, the brushes, the paint take very little physical exertion to use, which is perfect for seniors. In my classes, I teach a wide variety of techniques. They range from wet on wet to washes, dry brush, and other types of textures and brush strokes that anyone can create with a brush in hand. Now, I also cover different types of materials, how different types of brushes and different brands can affect the resulting artwork, as well as the experience of making the art. I also design my own classes and lessons, and I make them in such a way where the participants are engaged for the entire session. That means no one is waiting for paint to dry, and no one needs to use a hairdryer to get it to dry. I myself create the paintings that I demonstrate in class, and I make sure that the process is very easy to follow, yet also challenging to master. Another thing to note about my classes is that I focus on nature-inspired paintings. In other words, we're painting things like landscapes, flowers, fruits, vegetables, and other organic forms. There are two main reasons why I do this. Number one is that I personally love it, and I found that when I teach what I love, I teach at my best. Number two is that I believe that we all have a kind of inherent nurturing connection to nature, and that when we paint what nurtures us and what we love, we develop a deeper connection to it and to ourselves. All that being said, what's more important than the techniques, the step-by-step instructions, is my presence as a teacher. Because anyone can turn on YouTube and look up tutorials to make pretty much anything. The difference between me, a teacher, being present versus someone just watching a video is that I can respond directly to students' concerns in the moment. I can respond to how they're feeling, what they're thinking, and I can answer their questions live. As an instructor, I spend about 90% of my energy and attention on listening for what my students are grappling with, what they're looking for, what they want to create. With seniors especially, I find that they're incredibly hard on themselves, so I spend a lot of my time and my energy in class encouraging them gently to be kind to themselves, to embrace the mistakes, and to acknowledge them for showing up to paint, because sometimes just showing up takes courage. One of my favorite things about teaching is watching my students grow. And by that, I mean I've seen them go from hating their own artwork to starting to enjoy the process and then loving the result. When I see my students feel confident in themselves and love themselves more and watch their abilities grow, I know that I've done my job. So in summary, my watercolor classes are nature-inspired, meant to be soothing, relaxing, and an enjoyable learning experience. I create a safe space for my participants to feel comfortable exploring and to play and make messes, make mistakes, and make something new. So if you feel that you or a loved one could benefit from classes like this, please go ahead and check out my website, learn more, and sign up for a class.